Hey everybody, so in this video we're talking about two-way tables and how we can use two-way tables to create what is called a frequency table. So you've probably seen examples like this. So in this problem we have a group of students who took the same math test, were surveyed and asked if they studied for at least 1 hour and if they passed the test. Complete the table, then answer the questions that follow. So if we're looking here at how many students passed, we don't have this number, but we know that 50 studied for at least an hour or more, and there were a total of 64 students. So here we know that in order for this number plus 50 to give us 64, we know that this should be 14. And now we can find the total number of students who studied for less than 1 hour, and that would be 14 plus 9, which is going to give us 23. Now here, the easiest way to fill in the empty spaces would just be to find the difference between these values here. So 50 plus what number gives me 52, and that is 2, and then here 9 and 2 gives me 11. So now I have my table completed, and now I can answer these questions over here on the right. So how many students studied for less than 1 hour? So I need to come over here for students that less than 1 hour. Now, it said nothing about students that passed or failed. It just said how many studied for less than an hour. So we're going to look at the total value that studied less than an hour, and that would be 23. Next, how many students studied for at least 1 hour but did not pass? So we're going to look at this column, how many studied for at least an hour but did not pass. So that would be the intersection of these two data values, and that would be 2. Next, how many students studied for less than 1 hour and passed? Less than 1 hour and also passed, that would be 14. Now, this is how you would use this in order to completely fill out a two-way table and use that to answer questions. Now let's look at a frequency table. So we have the exact same problem with our exact same table, except now we're not talking about the number of people, we're talking about the percentage. So remember that our total in our table was 75. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 75 and we're going to divide it by 75. And that's going to give us 1. So now all of my decimals or all of my percentages should add up a grand total of 1. Okay, so I'm going to take every number that was in my table and I'm going to divide it by 75. So the number that studied less than 1 hour, this number was 14. So I'm going to take 14, I'm going to divide it by 75, and that's going to give me a decimal of 0.186. So for this, we can go ahead and say 0.19. How many studied for at least an hour or more and passed? That number was 50. So we'll take 50 and divide it by 75. So here we have 50 divided by 75. And that's going to give us 0.666, or here we could just say 67. Now here I would add these two numbers. So I have 0.19 plus 0.67, and that's going to give me 0.86. Now I already know what this needs to add to give me 1, so we already know this should be 0.14. Now coming right here, did not pass and study less than an hour. That was 9. So 9 out of 75. That's going to give us 0.12. Now I can find this total because 0.19 plus 0.12. That's going to give us 0.31. And here 1 to 0.31, we know that that is going to give us 0.69. And this is going to be 0.02. And then we also know that 0.12 plus 0.02 does give us 0.14. So these are the percentages. So what percent of the students studied for at least 1 hour? Okay, so studied for at least 1 hour, that's a total here. Now I'm not going to say 0.69, this is 69%. So 69% of the students studied for at least 1 hour. What percent of the students did not pass? So that is the did not pass total. So this would be 14%. And then what percent of the students studied for less than 1 hour and did not pass? So here's less than 1 hour, did not pass, and that would be 12% of the student body. Now, the reason this is really nice is because you could find if you were just given the frequency table, you could then find the actual number of students that passed or did not pass, but we just completed that with our two-way table. So a two-way table can give us percentages as well, similarly like a box and whisker plot gives us percentages. All right, that's going to be all for this video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and we'll see you all in the next video.